All right. One more reminder of what we're doing today. I have 2 problems I'd like to do. That's it, 2, and then you got your homework. It's pretty straightforward. The section we're still in 1.4 to the last day of it, then we're moving on to different stuff. We're still in overtime pay. The goal today is to do one of those schedule problems where you have to calculate how much you're making. So we're gonna do an actual schedule and calculate pay. So we're going to do gross pay. Notice I'm not doing net pay where we take out taxes or anything. We're just doing gross pay, what you get for your check with nothing taken out. The second thing we're going to do after we're going to do that, we're going to do a story problem. Okay, kind of like we did yesterday. Now there's one particular story problem that I had from the book that I want to discuss. It's the way they ask the question. It's a little deceiving. So I want to make sure you guys get to see that. And again, on that problem, you're still calculating gross pay. So you get kind of a feel for what you're going to have to do today. It comes out in pay rates and whatnot. So let's do the first one here. All right. So this is the table I'd like you to have set up. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, just remember on the book, the way the book does this, if you work Sundays, that's time and a half, or sorry, that's double time on Sundays. The rest of the week is normal time. If you go overtime, that's 1.5. That's the way the book calculates it, that it's double time on a Sunday. Okay, so that's like more of a factory style job. Okay, hours worked. Let's go with 3, 4, 5.5, 6.5, 6.5 again. Let's go with 8, and on Saturday you're working 2. Okay, this is our problem, and we want to calculate. There's no holiday on this particular calendar this week, so the only thing we'll have to deal with is overtime if we have it.
No off days?
Nope. I guess Friday would be an 8-hour day, 8.5, but.
All you got is 2 hours on Saturday.
Yeah. Went in and just had it open, I guess. All right. But remember, Sunday's double time. That's the way the book calculates it. They say holidays and Sundays are double time pay. Anything over overtime. So we know for sure that if we're doing this problem, I know a lot of you are just writing it down now. We have to do this separately. We need to know the rate of pay. So I'm going to go with somebody else that we haven't volunteered yet for the job you're kind of looking at, like what your pay is for your particular job. So somebody want to like volunteer theirs?
18.
18 bucks an hour? Okay, let's do that. I like it. Okay, so let's say your pay rate is $18 an hour. It's pretty sweet, whatever the job it is. Okay? That's your pay rate that you're working. Maybe you're construction or you're a farmhand, something like that. Factory, I guess factory jobs have pretty decent pay too. Okay, so if you've already started, that's great. You can kind of use your calculator, start doing some calculations here. At the 3 hours on Sunday, so for Sunday, we're gonna have to calculate the double pay, the double time pay. So you're gonna have to take the 18 times 2 to start with to figure out what your pay rate is on a Sunday if they're paying you double time. So this could be $36 an hour. Okay, so that's what you're getting paid, $36 per hour. That's not even like how much you made Sunday, that's just per hour that you're making, and you happen to work 3 hours on Sunday. So you gotta take 3 times 36. And that will give you your total for Sunday. So if we do this, that's 18, carry 1, that's 108 bucks you just made Sunday. For 3 hours worth of work. Not bad. Okay, that's not our end final, that's just Sunday. Because Sunday is a different pay scale. Now the rest of the week, this is where we have to start adding up the rest of the week. We have to find the total from Monday through Saturday because that's normal pay, unless you went overtime. Okay, so the rest of the week. Okay, did somebody actually add up all those numbers? What's the hour?
32.5.
Okay, perfect. So 32 and a half hours. So you're almost part-time. So you're not working overtime, so we're not going to get time and a half for anything after 40 hours, 47 hours, 7 hours would be time and a half. So it looks like we're gonna just take your 32.5, that's the hours, and you're gonna take it times your $18 an hour. Because you went overtime, so we don't have to calculate anything else. And so this number, if somebody wants to calculate that for me, please?
585.
585. Is that it? Even?
Yep.
Nice. Okay, 585 even. So that's the rest of the week, no overtime involved, and your total would be you add them both together. So you're gonna be looking at, 600 and something. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, okay, now, that's fine and dandy. If you happen to go overtime, so let's say we went 42 and a half hours, then what we're gonna have to do is calculate the extra 2.5 hours at a time and a half scale. Time and a half for $18, you have to take 18 times 1.5, and then you can take it times how many hours we're overtime. Okay, is there any questions on the first type of problem? I think most people are comfortable with this. I think that's your first couple of problems that you have. You have 4 of those where they just give you what hours you work that week. It's not, they don't give you the schedule. They just say, hey, you worked 32 hours that week. Fine, go calculate how much you can pay. Or they say, hey, you worked 5 hours overtime with 32 hours full time. So then you can go calculate that and add them together. So this is basically what your homework will look like right here. They don't have that huge schedule. Questions at all about the first type of problem? There's only 4 of those. I think they're pretty straightforward. The next part of your homework, story problems now. There's one particular problem I want you to see, and it's the way they ask it, I just don't like it. All right, here we go. So that's my example of a story problem. All right, so I'm just gonna pick a random name. We're gonna go with Ann. Ann works 57 hours this week. Twelve of those hours were overtime. And let's see, 12, let's go 5 of those hours were holiday. Calculate Ann's pay if she earns $13.75 per hour. Blah, 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 blah. It's not even a question, it's just a statement. All right. So Ann's working 57 hours that week. Fine and dandy, 57 hours. 12 of those hours were overtime, 5 of those hours were holiday. That's the part that I didn't like about this problem is the way they asked it. It seems like you're working 57 hours total, and then you had a bunch of, you had 12 hours on top of that and 5 hours on top of that. No. The 12 and 5 are a part of the total of 57. It's just the way they asked it was very confusing. I just didn't like it. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing that. That's not the exact word that was used. But what you have to do is you got to figure out, okay, 57, if I take away the 12 and the 5, that's a normal 40 hours. So that made sense for why they were stressing these two by themselves. That those are just a part of that 57. So this is your normal hours. You actually worked a full week, plus you have these extra time pays. So it's kind of like the last problem we did, but it has 3 categories. You have double time pay, you have time and a half pay, and you have the rest of the week pay. What I would do first if I was starting with this problem, I would definitely make your 3 categories for this problem, double time, time and a half, and normal. Calculate what your rate's gonna be for each of those times. So normal pay is $13. Time and a half, you have to take 1.5 times that. Double pay, you have to double that one. And once you have those 3 categories set up, then you can go ahead and start calculating what Ann is making for that week. gross pay, no taxes coming out. So to do that, here's my 3 categories. So this is, we're gonna do normal hours, normal pay, regular rate, time and a half, and we have double time pay. I know that seems silly, but I do the 3 categories, like very clearly separate them so that you can start doing those calculations. Her normal rate is $13.75, and I'm gonna take that times your 40. That'll give her pay for that week for the normal hours. Time and a half, I have to take the $13.75 times 1.5 to calculate the rate, but after that's done, I'm gonna have to take it times the 12, because she worked 12 hours at time and a half overtime. And then on the double time pay, I'm taking the $13.75 times 2, because I have to figure out what the double rate is, and then times the 5 hours, because she worked 5 hours for holiday pay. Does everyone see like my 3 categories if I'm doing it? I do it this way because it makes it a lot easier to look at. The thing I want you to note is how I set those up is like why I'm choosing to multiply by 1.5 before multiplying by 12, because I have to calculate that time and half pay. Or why I chose to multiply by 2 first before the 5, because I have to get double pay. Do we feel comfortable with this problem? Now, I know a lot of you are calculating. I'm going to do the calculations myself with the calculator just to double check that everyone's getting the right numbers here. So $13.75 times for 40 hours. You should be making $550 that first 40 hours. Did everyone get that number?
How many times that?
Okay. $13.75 times 40? That was just normal work week.
Oh.
And then, now the time and a half. $13.75 times 1.5 times the 12 hours. She's making $247.50 for just the overtime. That's $13.75 times 1.5 to figure out the rate times 12 hours. And her double time pay, $13.75 times 2 times 5 is $137.50. So this is all of her totals for that week or that time period, whatever it is. I'd add up all of those together, and it looks like she's making about $900, about $1,000 that week. It's about $935 total. If you can follow all of that, you're more than fine. Okay, here's your homework today. It's over 2 separate pages. It's select few problems. It's not even very big. You'll probably get it done before you leave here today.
I don't even think I can open it.
Okay, so homework I'm assigning. It's due Monday. In case you don't get it done, you don't have to stress. Due Monday.
I don't think I can do this. No, I can't.
All right, here we go. Here's your homework. I'll put it over there here in a second. I like to put it on the main board here so you can see it. Okay. Page 10 is the first page. Page 10, numbers 1 through 4. That's exercise A. And the second page is page 11. You're doing numbers 1 through 4 and number 8. And that's exercise B. Those are the story problems. So you have about 9 problems total. But this is due Monday. You have plenty of time to work on it today. Due Monday. Use a calculator. Show some work every now and then. It's nice. Don't just write down your final answer. Actually show some categories if you have to break stuff up.
May I use the restroom?
Yes, you may.
Can I use the bathroom?
Yes.
I don't know. Can you? I do.
No. Alright, I'm gonna put it up there. It's due Monday. Now, for junior seniors, because that's pretty much everybody in the room, you guys have a class meeting at 6th period today. So it's after lunch period, 6th period. It's down in the auditorium. It's the normal meeting you guys always have once a year. Mr. Hank always runs it. Talk about the year and stuff to go over details. You just need a pencil, no cell phones. Leave your cell phones in your locker at that time. So they see cell phones, they take your cell phone. Which you're not supposed to have in that meeting today. Question?
Oh no, I just have a question.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll get to it here in a second.
Can you like
Um,
make this entire chart? Can you make this entire chart?
Yeah, you can just do the chart if you want. That's an easy way to do it.
So draw the senior. Not right in the, I can't really see it.
Alright, and,
Yeah.
did you see the green?
Like I keep confusing the, I thought that was a 5, but it was a 3.
Oh.
I thought it was 13 was a
I got a feedback.
So I don't know.
Good enough. Okay, Matt, you have a question?
Did you want us to write down the regular hours now?
Yeah, like, you're just basically doing that chart. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, if you made the chart, it's probably the easiest thing to do.
Justin Jones.
Oh, I know right here. Do we miss the whole hour, 6 hours? Do we miss the whole 6 hours?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, last year they missed about the first 30 some minutes of it, so there's still a couple minutes at the end, but
And this is quiet.
yeah.
I love quiet.
I'm getting tired of water.
Alright, page 10, 1 through 4.
I'm not done.
Listen to fire.
Don't do it, that's me.
That looks like you're doing well.
Ooh.
I'll get to it, I just gotta start.
Good? Hey, go ahead and go ahead. That's right.
Oh, I've done that a few times.
Alright, wait.
So,
Yeah, you'll get on that one.
I love it.
don't worry.
You'll survive for the tree town.
See what else?
No, so it's
Let it know.
you always
I
use
mean, I have
1.5 for time and a half to calculate the rate. Double is 2. The hours are gonna change, because obviously it matters on what your hours were. So I think on those problems, you don't have to worry about time and you don't have to worry about double. I think everything they want you to calculate is just 1.5, it's just normal,
Is that like how much
regular
overtime?
overtime.
What's overtime?
Overtime is anything over 40.
That is. It's hard to watch that. Oh, I'm doing the wrong problem. How would you like, I'm thinking the CrossFit, okay, like hours worked,
Yeah, just,
up and down.
yeah.
And then, so, since it's 20 hours,
Overtime, yeah. And then you just do the calculations for each and add up and then
what is the overtime?
overtime is whatever hours it is, it's whatever your rate is, but you always take times 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah, so time and a half, remember, whatever your rate is, you take it times 1.5 for anything overtime. I think those first couple problems, you don't have to worry about double time pay. But I'm gonna leave this up here, just so you know, time and a half is times 1.5. It's nice to see that every now and then.
Would you like us to label it if we're doing like label hours?
Yes, please. Alright. Rate times 1.
What's your word rate there when you have a second?
Yes. Rate.
Yep. So is it okay if we just do it like this and then we
That's
don't have
fine.
to do
Yeah,
those guys?
that's fine.
So this kind of work is okay?
Yeah, because you got all the categories are filled out, you figured it out, yeah. It just doesn't have to look exactly like chart, I just thought church kind of.
I'll have to show my work in every problem for this one.
Those, just whatever you're kind of doing out to the side, just make sure you have some numbers down. So like if you're calculating like normal pay and overtime, you can write those numbers down and then just show me that you're adding them, put the answer
So
down.
like, I'm just,
Yeah, like that, that's fine. That works. I can interpret that.
alright. So I'm just like, I just didn't want to write